Minister, dear ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's always a pleasure to come back to Ljubljana and to speak about the energy issues in such a distinguished audience. And it seems like there is something I can deliver also to your discussions, as I was called back this time to deliver some new thoughts and new insights from the World Energy Council as well. So, all in all, I would like to take you today a bit aside, to look at the side of the European Union and Slovenia, how we actually manage our energy policy, and what are very key deliverables and also the drivers for the change. So I would talk today at first about the energy policy assessments, what World Energy Council does annually. When we speak about energy policy, then usually people speak that we have to have the secure, sustainable and competitive energy policy. But where do we stand in these positions? This is a question that World Energy Council tries to respond. Then I will just give you some overview on the EU countries on that. I will look also at Slovenia, and then I will speak about a bit about the World Energy Council scenarios that have been developed a couple of years ago, but how it actually has an impact to the energy governance. And in the end of the day, I will give a small advice also to your government for the development of the energy policy. But before we go, I would like to make a small survey. If you would have to choose whether to listen a jazz or a symphony, which one would you choose? Those who would like to select jazz, please raise your hands. Okay, and those who would go for symphony? Okay. Seems like 2/3 are going for symphony and 1/3 for jazz this time. I will come back to this question actually in a minute, but I would at first start with the energy policy assessments. So in the World Energy Council, we are annually looking at the 129 countries all over the world and assess their energy policies in terms of energy security levels, environmental sustainability, and energy equity, which actually looks for the affordability of energy for the households and also the competitiveness of the energy prices in the global terms. So you can see here that the European Union countries are actually in very strong positions in some dimensions of the energy policy, but there are very few countries which actually would score well in all of these three dimensions. If you think of these three dimensions, they are actually contradictory. You may get very good results in terms of affordability of energy, but usually you then give up something in energy security or in environmental sustainability. To get a very good balance and very large triangle out of it is actually a biggest challenge that the energy policy makers have to face. So how we can actually see the European Union countries performing in these dimensions? If you look at the northern countries, you can see that actually they are performing quite strongly in terms of environmental sustainability, but to a lesser extent in energy security and the affordability of the energy. Then when you go to the eastern countries, then their energy policies usually lag behind in terms of environmental sustainability. But they are performing very strongly in terms of energy security, having a lot of capacities and also interconnectors with the neighboring states. They are lagging behind also a bit in terms of the affordability of energy. if they compare the energy prices to the income of the people. Then, for your consideration, of course, it is important to see how the southern countries look like. As you see, environmental sustainability and affordability of energy are in a quite high level. However, you're lagging behind in terms of energy security. And in Western countries, you can see that the environmental sustainability and the affordability of energy are quite strong. The energy security is lagging a bit behind. So, looking more detail in the Slovenian picture, you can see that you're performing, actually you are a very average southern country, in a way. You perform quite well, actually, in all three dimensions. And actually, this is a very good sign that you are performing in a balanced way, very well in all three dimensions. What you can see, actually, in other countries is that if you are performing well in one dimension, it usually hits back in a couple of years in your energy policy. For example, if you take China, which has put a very strong emphasis to energy affordability and competitiveness of its energy sector, and has forgot about environment, then now they are actually coming back to the energy policy and trying to change the environmental side of it and put less emphasis on the affordability of this energy sector. So such kind of trends you can follow up also with such kind of analysis in several countries. If you look at the trends in Slovenia, you can see that you are actually quite stable in terms of energy security, performing actually just above the average of the world. Then, in terms of sustainability, you can see that actually the change of the industry structure has had an impact already to these developments. What you have to keep in mind is that actually this 2014 data is based on 2012 statistics, which means that you will see these kind of trends in a time lag. Next year we will have 2013 data, so it will have some reflection of how it has changed during this period. But you can see that the economy's impact here is driving it down there. Overall, you're actually scoring quite well because we also look at the other dimension, indicators there in terms of economic strength and the political strength. And politically, you are very well balanced, and it supports your overall score quite well. So you can say that you have a triple B as for the energy policy. So one thing maybe what I would, in terms of energy union, would try to say here is that if we think of these four different kind of regions in the European Union, then each of these regions needs different approach for the development of a common energy union. It means that if the European Commission would like to, and European Union level, we would like to apply new energy union, every region has to be looked differently. Every region has to have a different strategy. But now I would like to touch upon another report that World Energy Council has done a year ago, and how it actually influences also the development of the energy union. When we made our analysis of the world energy trends and what it would look like in 2050, we figured it out that actually it very much depends on the governance structure of the whole energy sector, what kind of results we will receive in 2050. So here the jazz and symphony come to play along. We might have a very liberal energy sector governance, jazzy one, world where actually the consumers are the one who define what kind of system we will have. There are a lot of multinational companies playing around, but the key question here is that the technologies which consumers and producers use are selected in competitive markets based mainly on price. And conversely, in the case of symphony, where the governments define the energy sector structure and energy mix, we will have the governments in the position to pick the technology winners. So these are kind of very controversial approaches to the energy governance in the country and in the world. If we would assume that we would have all countries in the world playing a jazzy scenario, then what you would see is that by 2050, the electricity production would actually go up very much from coal, based on the economical decisions only. And in terms of renewables, the development should be actually much stronger in case of symphony, where the governments put special subsidy schemes supporting financing to the projects. If you look at the capacity-wise, you can also see that solar would be most likely this technology which will go forward when the symphony will be applied by the governments around the world. And the key question actually for CCS development, carbon capture and storage, is also in symphony. Meaning that without strong governmental support, we will not have CCS operational and market ready by 2050. It may be there, but it's much less there, much less compared to the governmental support. Nuclear as well will develop only if the governments are in a position to drive the game. So, as you see, if you think of the intralemma terms, what the jazz will deliver is more competitive prices, but the symphony will deliver stronger environmental sustainability and also stronger energy security for the governments. Now the question is that where do we go in the European Union? Well, at the moment we have 28 European symphonies. In each country we have own energy symphony. The Energy Union in turn actually proposes to go for a common energy jazz. It means that to have a much more liberal market where governments do not define so much the energy policy and the energy mix. So what would be the consequences if we will continue with the 28 symphonies? Is that actually European Union will lose its competitiveness even more with the US and also with the other parts of the world. It also would increase the unemployment. And if you think of this, that the industries will move out from European Union, then as a result of that, the CO2 emissions will not actually increase in European Union very much. And in the EU ETS system, you would not actually see very high CO2 prices as a consequence of that. The second concern would like to draw out here is that political cycles will have much more influence when we have national approaches to the energy sector. The political cycles in every 4 years changing government and parliament say it has always an impact to the energy policy. And thirdly, European Union strategy requires also widespread political leadership, and the change of the governance from national governance to the regional and also European level governance, which politically is not so easy to be implemented. So, some advice, short advice. We have very new realities actually in the energy markets. We have very volatile energy prices, geopolitics, new technologies, and also new business models coming to the table. So you have to have all this. You have to take this also into account in your energy policy. The world will be much more liberal in the approach to the energy sector than it used to be. If you are developing your national strategy, you should actually look at the regional approach together with other countries to see what kind of future common market you can deliver from the current situation. You should also look at from the perspective that we currently have only a clear target for the environmental sustainability. But we don't have any targets for the other dimensions of trilemma. Not for energy security. What are you actually aiming if you think of the energy security? And what are you aiming in terms of competitiveness and affordability of their energy? These targets would actually help very much also in the development of your energy strategy. Fourth point I would like to point out here is that when you develop the energy mix, and if the government wants to define the energy mix, it should find a way to promote diverse energy mix in terms of networks, supply, and also in terms of production. And the fifth advice I would actually like to give to the European Commission. European Commission should be more in a position to help in the design of national and regional energy and also climate strategies together with national governments. Today, the European Commission has to a large extent taken the position to control how the countries are developing their national strategies, but they should actually support more the development of such regional and national points on that. So, with these advices, I would stop my presentation and leave the floor for the others. Thank you very much.